You're weak. No, no, don't close the tab. Stay with me. You're weak and you know it. That's why you're here. That's why you clicked on this. The science of building extreme discipline. Because last night you did it again, didn't you? Whatever your thing is. The thing you swore you'd stop doing. The promise you broke for the 100th time. And now you're here, looking for Carl Jung to save you from yourself. Well, I've got news for you. Jung says you're weak because you're fighting the wrong war. You're trying to kill the wrong enemy. The enemy isn't your weakness. The enemy is thinking you have an enemy at all. Let me tell you what's actually happening in your head right now. You've split yourself in two. There's the good you, the one who sets the alarm, makes the plans, buys the gym membership. And there's the bad you, the one who hits snooze, breaks the diet, skips the workout, and these two are locked in combat forever. And you think if you just give the good guy more weapons, more willpower, more systems, more discipline, eventually he'll win. Carl Jung watched thousands of people fight this war, watch them lose over and over. And you know what he realized? The bad you isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to save you. It's trying to save you from becoming a robot. A perfectly disciplined, completely dead robot. Here's what happened. Jung had this patient, a banker, completely disciplined, never missed a day of work in 20 years, exercise routine like clockwork, perfect diet, perfect schedule. The man was a machine, and he was dying inside. Having dreams where he was a wild animal, tearing apart his office, waking up in cold sweats. So Jung asks him, what would happen if you took one afternoon off? The man looks at him like he's suggested murder. That would be chaos. That would be giving in. I'd lose everything. But Jung knew something. That chaos the banker was terrified of, that was his life force. All that discipline was just a prison he'd built to keep his own vitality locked up. Because here's the thing nobody wants to admit. We don't actually want to be disciplined. We want to be alive. But we're so terrified of being alive, because being alive is messy and unpredictable and uncontrollable, that we'd rather be disciplined. We'd rather be dead. You think you lack discipline? You don't lack discipline. Look at how masterfully you've suppressed yourself. Look at how expertly you've caged your own desires. You're incredibly disciplined. You're so disciplined you've been choking the life out of yourself for years. And then you wonder why you rebel. Why you break? Why you fall off the wagon? It's not falling off. It's trying to breathe. Jung called this the shadow. Not your bad side. That's the kindergarten version. The shadow is everything you could have been but decided was unacceptable. And here's the kicker. It takes enormous energy to keep that shadow locked up. Energy you could be using to actually build something. But instead, you're using it all to maintain the prison. You're the guard and the prisoner. You're exhausting yourself, fighting yourself. This is why your discipline fails. Monday morning, you're all willpower. This time will be different. By Thursday, the shadow's rattling the cage. By Saturday night, it's broken out, and you're doing exactly what you swore you wouldn't do, binging whatever you've been restricting. And then Sunday, you're back to building a stronger cage. I just need more discipline. No, you need to open the cage. Jung had this technique that sounds absolutely insane. Instead of trying to eliminate unwanted behaviors, he'd tell his patients to schedule them. You heard that right. Schedule your failures. You want to waste time on social media? Put it in the calendar. 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., mindless scrolling. You want to eat junk food? Thursday, 7 p.m., pizza and ice cream. But that's giving up. No, that's growing up. Because here's what happens. And this is the genius part. When you make the unconscious conscious, when you make the shadow behavior official, it loses its power. It's not the forbidden fruit anymore. It's just Tuesday's 2 p.m. appointment. And something even weirder happens. When you give yourself permission, you often don't even want it anymore. The pizza loses its appeal when it's not a rebellion. The scrolling gets boring when it's not an escape. But here's the real magic. When you stop fighting yourself, you have all this energy suddenly available. Energy that was locked up in the war. And that energy naturally flows toward what Jung called individuation, becoming who you actually are, not who you think you should be. Look at Jung's own life. The man would spend mornings seeing patients, being the perfect Swiss psychiatrist. Then in the afternoons, he'd go to his lake house and play in the sand, building little castles and villages like a child. For hours, his peers thought he'd gone soft, lost his edge. But those sandcastles became the foundation for theories that revolutionized psychology. The undisciplined playtime was where the real work happened. You want extreme discipline? Here's the science. Stop trying to conquer yourself. That's like trying to bite your own teeth. It's impossible and you look insane trying. Real discipline isn't about domination. It's about integration. It's about taking all that energy you're using to fight yourself and pointing it in the same direction. The Romans had a phrase, solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. You have to dissolve the false discipline, the one based on self-hatred and the fear of who you really are, before you can coagulate the real thing. And the real thing doesn't look like discipline at all. It looks like someone who stopped fighting themselves and started being themselves with such intensity that other people call it discipline. But it's not discipline, it's alignment. You know what's really weak? Needing to control everything, needing to schedule every minute, needing to optimize every breath. That's not strength, that's terror. Terror of what might happen if you actually let go for 5 seconds. Terror of who you might be if you stopped performing discipline and started living. Jung died at 85, and right up until the end, he was learning new things about himself. Still discovering shadow material, still integrating, still becoming. Not because he had extreme discipline, but because he'd stopped wasting energy on the war and started using it for the journey. So you want the science of building extreme discipline? Here it is. Stop building it. Stop fighting yourself. Stop trying to destroy the parts of you that don't fit your image of who you should be. Because that chaos you're so afraid of, that's not your enemy, that's your power. And the moment you stop using all your energy to suppress it, you'll have more discipline than you know what to do with. But it won't feel like discipline. It'll feel like finally being alive. And yeah, you're still weak, but now you know why. You're weak because you're using all your strength to fight yourself. Stop the war. Use that strength to build something, anything. Build what you actually want, not what you think you should want. The enemy was never your weakness. The enemy was thinking you had an enemy at all.